Hi everyone, good day. Are you ready for another Math Venture with Teacher Rev? Let's start our statistics learning journey.
So we already constructed two tables. Let's go back. We already have the group frequency distribution, the frequency distribution for the ungrouped data. We also have the frequency distribution for the group data. We also have the relative frequency distribution. The last would be the commutative frequency distribution. The commutative frequency distribution is a table which shows the number of cases falling below or above a particular value. There are times when we are interested in the number of greater or less than a specified value in our table. So that has something to do with the less than cumulative frequency or the greater than cumulative frequency. There's another one. We call it the greater than cumulative frequency. Now, what's the difference between less than? They are both cumulative frequency because they are both number of cases falling below or above. The less than cumulative frequency, we obtain this by what? Adding individual frequency successively from where? From the top. So meaning, if it's from the top, we start with the topmost. What do? We add the individual frequencies, but we have to start with something. So in the first interval, we start with 1. Then, we add another value. That would be 1 plus the frequency of the second class interval. That would be 1 plus 7. So we identified 8. 8 plus 8, that would be 16. So this is 1 plus 7. This is 8 plus 8. In this case, we have 16 plus 4, and the answer is 20. So I'm not going to add 20 plus 11, that would be 31. 31 plus 8, that would be 39. We add all the frequencies. 39 plus 7, that would be 46. 46 plus 4, that would be 50. The last item would be the total number of classes. Now, this is intended for questions. This table is intended for questions such as, how many scores do we have less than 27? How many scores are there less than 27? If you're going to look at this, these are the values which are less than 27. No need to add this because it's already here. So the answer would be 20. That's the purpose of the less than cumulative frequency. How many scores got lower than? Okay, let's erase some part of this so that it's not confusing. How many scores got less than 39? If it's 39, so that means the scores are 39 and below. Instead of adding from here to here, we don't have to add because we already have the less than cumulative frequency. That would mean there are 39 scores lower than 39. That's the purpose of what we call cumulative frequency. Okay. Next, less than cumulative frequency. So if I will ask you, how many scores got lower than 27? If that's the case, if I'm asking for scores lower than 27, I would look at the class interval 26, and that would mean 20 scores are lower than 27. So that's how we go about it. But what if the question is, how many scores got higher than 38? If I will rely on these values, the value would be 46, which is unlikely because if I'm going to look, the value that I'm going to get is 46 because there are only 7 plus 4. There are only 11 cases that are higher than 38. In that case, we're not going to use the less than cumulative frequency because it's intended for questions such as how many got lower than a certain value. That's why it's less than cumulative frequency. Now, for the greater than cumulative frequency, we start with the lowest value. So, sabi dito, can be obtained by adding the individual frequencies successively from where? From the bottom part. So we start from the bottom. We have 4. 4 plus 7. So we add each frequency successively. 4 plus 7, that would be 11. 11 plus 8, that would be 19. 19 plus, let me fix that for you. So 11, 19. 19 plus 11, that would be 30. 30 plus 4 is 34. 34 plus 8 would be 42. 42 plus 7 would be 49. And 49 plus 1 would be 50. There you go. That's why, to answer the question earlier, how many got higher than 38? These are the two values that will be considered. 7 plus 4. Instead of adding these two items, we just look at the next class interval, which is 11. How many got a score higher than 20? So we know that if it's higher than 20, we include all the values here. That would mean there are 34 students higher than 20. That's the purpose of the greater than cumulative frequency. So if I will ask you how many got lower than 21, I will not look here because the answer here would be 42, which is not the correct answer because I'm looking for values lower. I'll look at the less than cumulative frequency. If I'm getting for the values higher than a specified value, then that's the time that I will look at the greater cumulative frequency. Now, this is actually the frequencies that we have. So we have the cumulative frequency. Can we have it in one table? Yes, you can extend this and write the greater than cumulative frequency here. But if you're only asking for the less than, you can only write these values. For the greater than, you can only have these columns in our table. So to be able to form a table, a cumulative frequency distribution, we need the class interval, class boundary, frequency, and a greater than cumulative frequency for greater than cumulative frequency distribution. And in here, for the less than cumulative frequency distribution, you'll need class interval, class boundary, frequency, and less than cumulative frequency in your column header. Now, provided that we want both, how do we label that? If both are given, class interval, class boundary, frequency less than, then you also have the greater than cumulative frequency, then it is not right to label it as less than or greater than, but rather we can remove the less than. We can have it as cumulative frequency distribution for the test scores of 50 students in statistics. It is important that we have the table number and it is important that we have the table title. Are we clear on this? Hope everything is clear.
This had been a great learning adventure. So, see you next time on another Math Venture with Teacher Rev. Remember, don't stop until you're proud. Learning math takes time. Bye.
And I can't wait so we can break apart.